it's Melissa, and I'm finally back. I've been away a long time, I know, but I've been really busy with work, and we went on a little holiday. But anyway, I'm back with a new camera setup, and today I'm back for my Making Lemonade series. And so today's video is all about scrap lifting yourself. So this is a layout that I made for the Crafty Maven getaway, and we had an online crop a few weekends ago, and I wanted to play along with Tanya's challenge about tackling the terror. So you had to do something that you found scary, and for me it was stitching circles, which I think was the same thing that she found scary. So this is what I made, and it was Azaria's first day of school, and she was really unhappy. And so today I'm wanting to focus on scrap lifting yourself, which is an awesome way of being able to create when you don't really have any scrappy mojo. So this is what's going to be inspiring my layout. Now it's not going to be completely the same. I'm going to work on a 12 by 12 and I'm going to scrap 2 photos, but the general concept is there. So I'll join you again soon. I'm so sorry about the noise of my children in the background. That was the quiet version of them. I told them to be quiet for 1 minute while I just recorded live the beginning of this video, but I think they kind of did it on purpose. But anyway, I'm not going to complain. It's spring here and it feels a little bit like summer, and it's great because my kids are outside and playing on the trampoline, and it's just awesome that they're not wanting to be in front of technology. So, okay, moving along. You can see that I've got a new setup here. I've got a tripod that my husband got for me as a surprise for our anniversary. So that just arrived yesterday when I made this video. So of course I had to get it set up and make a video straight away. The only issue I have with it is that you can see the legs in the top of the screen, but I don't think it's a big deal. I mean, I'm just an amateur and I make these for fun. So I personally don't have an issue with it, and it means that I'm making better quality videos now, and the position where I'm filming it is right next to the window. Anyways, here I'm cutting out some circles, and I'm just using my cuddle bug, and I've got the Sizzix, it's a die, and this is how I cut circles out. Because it's not one where you can pull the circles apart, they're fixed in that position. So I cut one piece of paper as a guide, and I use the negative space to position my paper that I want to cut out, and then I just washi tape it down, run it through, and that's how I get the circles. So off screen I've cut a whole lot of circles out, and I've used that piece, I think it's Amy Tangerine, and I love it. I love plus signs, they're really trendy at the moment, and I wanted to use a huge big piece of it. Now orange is not a colour that I gravitate towards, but I love the shade of orange and I love the colours in it of the plus signs, and I think it works really well with this photo. So this is my August hip kit. I'm getting there. I've been pretty busy with clip kits, and also I've got the other homemade kit. I've got the homemade kit for Sam's birthday photos, and I'm making my way through that. So essentially I'm working with 3 kits at the moment, and that's why it's taken me longer to kill this kit. But once I have killed all of the kits, I will film my layout shares. So this is a photo of Azaria's birthday in the end of June, and she turned 6. And the photos aren't that great, but they're the only photos I have. And I think because we did her cake in the evening, and she's got her nightie on there, this is the best quality I'm going to get. And so the tones actually work really well with the orange paper. So the layout that I showed you at the beginning was 8.5 by 11 or A4, and I drew elements from it in terms of scrap lifting myself. I had a border at the top, and I have pretty much pulled that border down on this page, which is 12 by 12, and made it large and made it a real feature of the layout. And the other layout had a lot of circles, which I think I grouped in 3s and then embellished, and so I didn't really plan ahead with this one again. I just decided that I would do circles, I would pull that border down, and I'm just going from there. And so at this point I kind of did think about 2 or 3 circles together, but as you watch I will add a lot more, and the layout will really take a life of its own, to the point that you probably can't even tell that it is based on the other one. And I think that's what's great about scraplifting. You can decide yourself whether you follow the layout absolutely the same, or whether you use it as a starting point or just some inspiration. And I know for me that scraplifting is not something I've done a lot of, and this is probably the second time ever that I've scraplifted myself, but I thought, rather than feel the pressure to have to come up with something creative every single time, something new, why not take a layout that I love, that I have made, and use it as a starting point or a jumping point for something else. So the other thing I've got different happening on this one is I've got 2 photos, whereas the other one was only 1. And the orientation of the photos is landscape. I think the other one was portrait. So anyway, I think you get my point. So this layout came together really quickly. As always, it's just a case of playing around and seeing what I like. And I do find when I'm doing something that's a lot of layering, which this one is, it's different to layering rectangles or squares of paper. If I like it, I'm going to stick it down. So here I did think about having a cluster in the middle there, but in the end I decided that I wanted to have a cluster at the top, a cluster at the bottom, and then build up my layered clusters of circles around the photos, and that's what I'm doing. So the thing with the vellum is you don't want your adhesive to show, so it's just a case of positioning them and then hiding the adhesive. And I decided when I started this layout that I didn't want to stitch all the circles, and if I had done this again and I wanted to, I would probably stitch them individually and then stick them down, just because I really had no idea where this was going. So yeah, just taking a while here. It's all about, for me, what looks pleasing to the eye, and I don't follow any rules when I scrapbook. I think you may have noticed that. I just go with what I think looks good. A lot of people do the rule of 3s or 5s for uneven design looking best, and I kind of used to do that, but now I've evolved my style to the point that I just go off what I like and what I think looks good. So I was quite keen to use this lovely thicker title, but I couldn't really make it work, and I think it's because my photos are offset, and just with all that's going on with the circles, it just didn't really suit the layout. So that's fine, I'll use it on something else. Now I'm using these Dear Lizzie chipboard, and I had purposefully kept them for these photos for Azaria's birthday because they're really girly, and I love that they were going to work for her birthday. So her birthday was in June, end of June, like I said, and I only recently got a whole lot of photos printed. And in fact, that is a really good way of getting your scrappy mojo going, is printing off some new photos. And if you're anything like me, when you get photos, you'll scrap your favourite photos or photos that go with your supplies really well, and you'll leave probably, I don't know, a third of the photos to the end. And with the other photos that I had printed, I've got probably a third or a quarter to go. But because I want to get this kit killed, I got these photos printed, and even when I first got this kit, I knew that these birthday themed photos, embellishments were for her layout. So I told her that too, and she was pretty excited. Quite funny lately because, not really funny, but I've been scrapping a lot of photos of Brielle, and I think it's because I work from home and she's with me all the time. And so I have a lot more photos of her. And also because with a baby or a toddler, they change so quickly, and you have milestones that you do record and want to take photos of. So it's getting quite noticeable to the other two that they're not in as many layouts. And the reason they know that is because I display my layouts in our dining room. I have 3 of them on display, and I change them out every time I create something new. It goes onto there, and then I move it from there into my craft room on my display board there, and then it goes into my big pile and eventually into an album. So Azaria had definitely noticed that she wasn't getting scrapped as much as Brielle. And of course Sam is getting scrapped because I've made that kit for him. Now with that flower die cut, I actually wish that I had left it there. I think it looks really cute there. But my thinking at the time was I love it so much that I want to make it a feature and not have it tucked behind as essentially another layer. So keep an eye out for that one to be used up soon. And here I'm just wanting to put something to bridge the gap between those photos, and that piece of chipboard says wonderful. I had a little bit of adhesive stuck on it, so I'm just using a Stampin' Up tool. It's like a bit of rubber that can take adhesive off photos and paper if you don't press too hard. It doesn't ruin them, so that's always good. I was really looking for the circular elements in that chipboard, which is why I've used the OK and the other one that says yes under the hay, or to the right of the hay. And I'm kind of coming to the end of these Pink Fresh Studio wood veneers now, and you would have noticed I've got them in the Click Kit Funfetti, which is October's kit as well. And although I essentially have 2 packets of them, I absolutely love them and could almost do with another packet. So I think they're a really fun, neutral element that works with a lot of different pages, and I love that they're printed too. So I just glue those candles down. I do find that a lot of chipboard, if you're thinking about longevity in your album, it does need some extra adhesive. So now I'm wanting to add this little banner, and it says eat dessert first, which isn't really true because we had dinner first, but I thought it fit really well with the cake theme. And so I'm just working out where to place it. And I realised that I need another circle behind it just to provide a little bit of backing and a bit of interest behind it. So I'm going with this one here, which I'd cut out for that original layer and never used. So I do find it's always good when you're working with a kit that if you cut something, even with your scraps too, keep them because you never know when you're going to use them. Had a little bit of trouble placing this banner, but in the end I just decided that's the best location for it. Now, probably at this point, thinking about my journaling, and then I realised that I did think about wonderful being the title, but it needs something else. I also thought I better get the number of her birthday out because the candle there are only 3 candles. Not that she looks like she's 3, but I wanted the 6 to appear somewhere. So just played around there with what looked best, and I decided just to the left of the candles, which probably makes no sense at all because there's 3 candles and she's 6. Now this eat cake is so cute, and although the photo isn't about eating cake, we definitely ate the cake after, so I wanted that to be my title in the end. And because the eat cake is outlined, I decided I wanted to outline the white piece of cardstock on this layout. A little bit scary, I always find it a bit daunting, especially doing it on camera as well, and it's always harder as well when you've got embellishment stuck down because it makes it uneven, but it's just a case of playing around and going, okay, what is the easiest way? And for me, I can't do it all in one go, and it doesn't bother me if it goes crooked or you can see where I've stopped and started. I don't want it to look perfect anyway. If I want it to look perfect, I would have got my ruler out. So I like the imperfection, and I think it goes really well with the circles, which provide a bit of movement, I guess, in terms of my layers, and it's also balancing off the square edges of the photos. So I'm loving having that there as a feature in itself, and at this point I noticed that that little chipboard that says yes is not stuck down on the paper, it's stuck on the photo, and so it's going to need some Tombow behind it. So I thought, well, why not add another circle there as well? And you would have seen that I changed my mind on which side of the circle, and I went with that one that's another one of those little cut aparts, and so I've glued that down, and now gluing down the chipboard. I have just loved the sequins in this crepe paper. I guess it's enamel dots and sequins, and so because I had 3 left, I thought I'd get them onto this layout, and it adds another little pop of gold. And there's gold obviously on the vellum and also the number 6. So now, time for my journaling, and I had to stop and ask Azaria what flavour the cake was. And it was strawberry flavoured with chocolate icing, because she had wanted a strawberry and chocolate cake. And we don't do a birthday party every year with our kids, they get one every second year. And so that's just a little cake just for our family. So coming to the end now, and what you don't see is me splattering with some navy Heidi Swap. And all I'm doing there is just adding some glue behind the dots, gold dots, just to hold them down. And so that's the final layout. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.